courage to ask. There's one speech in your play in particular that intrigues me.
Ah, that. Well, I think, after all, it had better remain unspoken. It might be for the best.
Would you like to hear?
No. Oh, go on. I shall know if it's an instant or if it's too painful.
Could I have been married, I wonder? I know who I'd like to have wedded, the charming lady I'm playing opposite. Of course, she's married herself, so it's out of the question. Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. Such an arrangement in life would have artistic merit.
Value. I wrote artistic value.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, I suppose you must.
She fills me with joy. When I see her, when I hear her voice, my heart will not be still. You see, I'm reduced to Mills and Boone. The truth be known, I'm terrified of her. I can't speak to her except in Shakespeare's words. Oh, full of scorpions is in my mind, dear wife. The language calms me. Scorpions is the right word. I feel poisoned and ground in the jaws of love. I offered her my chair in rehearsal. I ended up falling over it and pretending I was practicing a stage fall. She picked me up, her hand under my arm. I tried to say, "Oh, yeah, that's quite all right." But my words had turned to stone. She thought perhaps I'd had a slight head injury. In a way, I said, kind of a head injury. Well, the production first aid girl tended to me, but I said I only had a bruise on my knee. Kept that to myself.
Well, there it is. You can't have everything.
Would you like to have been married?
Oh, I don't think it would have worked. You see so many collapse in our trade.
Yes, but would you have liked it, even if it hadn't worked out?
Ah, well.
Well?
Would you?
You first.
Yes.
Really?
You asked.
I thought you'd say no.
Let's say a year of happiness. That's a lot more than many get.
With Lady Macbeth?
Why not? For the company. A young lady. It would have been nice. Would you?
I wouldn't. I thought she was beautiful, of course, in a stark kind of way. I felt pierced by her eyes. Punctured, rather. But she drew one in. I was enthralled.
Well, you didn't look it.
Well, a gentleman doesn't display, does one?
Obviously not.
Unless on stage. Even then, it doesn't do to exaggerate. But what would we have talked about over breakfast?
Oh, of our triumphs. Darling, I thought you were superb last night.
Oh, come along. I wasn't fit to be your shadow.
Spellbinding. I heard weeping in the audience.
You held the entire theatre in your hand. Marmalade?
Oh, please. So, now what?
A kipper, perhaps?
I meant, what shall we talk about? Then there would have been terribly long silence.
Why?
No, because we'd have nothing to say. Possibly something about the washing up or laundry, then another awkward silence. I'd find some words and try them. How are you? And there would be no reply.
She might be delighted to be asked.
No, there would be a frosty silence as she looks at me and thinks, I'd have been better off with Macduff.
You're too hard on yourself.
Would you have done any better?
I might have said, should you like to see a show or a film in the afternoon? Perhaps a stroll through town.
And she'd have said, no, thank you. I'm having tea and cake with my friends. This would happen a lot. Soon I would become a piece of furniture, and she only spoke to by mistake.
So, better off without a wife, all things considered.
Yes, perhaps. What did you think of my play?
I thought it superb, especially the ending.
Thank you. Now, and what did you like about the ending?
It was ambiguous.
Could you read it to me?
Oh, pleasure. stage is heaven on earth. It is eternal life. When the lights go up, when the stage manager calls beginners, I know that I shall never die. The words I speak, the moves I make give me eternal life. In everyday world, I buy some shoes. So what? I park my car. Who cares? I win at Scrabble. What does it matter? But to play Macbeth is to live in the eternal world of Dunesnane, to weep, holding out the daggers to my wife, begging her aid and love, to find I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go.
Is that my script?
Pardon?
What you're reading from?
Oh, some of it's Shakespeare, of course. The rest is you.
You were reading it?
Was I?
Yes.
Well, it's a copy, that's all.
It is the copy. There was only one, and it disappeared from the dressing room. Did you take it?
But I found it.
Found it where?
In my hand.
After Endgame. That's when I lost it.
Yes.
I see. And you've kept it all these years?
Yes. I'm so sorry. I should have said something.
Yes, you should. May I see it?
Oh. There. I'm so sorry. Well, I wanted to read it. I knew it was very personal. I didn't think you'd let me. So I borrowed it. While you took another curtain call. And then I never gave it back. I took it back to my digs. I drank some cocoa, some whiskey, and read it. I kept looking for my name. I read how you felt. Oh, on fire. As soon as I spoke my first line, I felt like the sun. How you...
Wept sometimes if I didn't get a part.
How you...
Can think of nothing else when I'm on stage. I feel baptized by the stage light. That does sound strange, but when the light smothers me, it's like drowning and being, reborn. And you see things, you feel things quite unexpectedly. A new life.
Well, I couldn't do any other sort of work except...
The courier work.
Oh, yes. Off we go on our Yamaha 150s.
Rented Yamahas.
Indeed, zooming through the city. I always got there first.
Yeah, well, you had a better sense of direction.
We took the parcels to reception desks, hoping to look like spacemen arrived from some mission or other.
I wondered what it might be like to be an assassin, because they dress like that. Biker's kit and faceless visors.
Do you remember writing this? Yeah. My father called acting lying for a living. And it wasn't what a respectable man did to support his family, which was largely because he'd fought in the war and couldn't understand putting a costume on for any other reason.
He couldn't understand why I didn't have a wife and children. Have you used my photograph as your background?
Yes. Well, it was such a wonderful production. And there we are, battling it out.
I thought it looked familiar.
I'm so glad I've been found out. It's been a bit of a burden, especially the script.
I imagine so. Perhaps as penance, you should arrange a production of my play.
Oh, I'd love that.
And then you can give me the props back.
Well, who'd play you?
Oh, Sir Ian McKellen. It's perfectly obvious. I have peculiarities requiring very nuanced portrayal. Only Sir Ian would be capable.
It was nice of you to put me in your play.
Trevor, you have been with me from the beginning.
Still, it was thoughtful. The scene where we give our end of show speeches at the Trident.
Oh, I remember it well.
In the bar of the Philharmonic Concert Hall.
Oh, it was a bit of a crush. You and I were virtually drinking from the same glass.
And you said...
Wait, I can remember this. Although the sun has set upon our little production in the theatre, it is always dawn. It is always cutting up As soon as one show ends, another begins.
There was applause at that point.
Yeah, except for Lady Macbeth. She looked rather blankly at me over her creme de menthe.
Bailey's, I think.
There is always another show.
There is one more confession I must make.
I know.
I do apologise.
It's quite all right.
I've always worn it.
I know.
You don't know what I was going to say.
I do, old chap.
This.
Yes.
I kept it safe. I think you popped out of the dressing room.
No, another curtain call, a press interview.
The toilet, I think. Well, I didn't know. I didn't want it to get lost. It was lying on some armour, dangling from a visor. I thought, well, he doesn't want to lose that. I'll just pop it on. Make sure it's there. Then when you came back, I was changed. I thought no more about it till I got to our digs. I kept meaning to give it you back.
How very odd. And it's just fake blood.
Except that's just it. I don't think anything's fake in the theatre. It always struck me that out there in the other world, that's just pretend, preparation.
Not all the world is a stage.
No, I don't think it is. Only some of it. When the lights come on, when you walk out of the wings, that's when life begins.
Then let us never make an exit.
Let us never get weary of the sun.
So, you will produce my play?
It will be my greatest honour.
Perhaps we should play ourselves. After all, Sir Ian may have other commitments.
You think so?
Well, I do. We should play ourselves as we really are.
When would you like to start rehearsing?
Well, I think we should start straight away. There isn't a moment to lose.
In that case, there is only one thing to say.
Of course. Stand by. Beginners to the stage, please.